Okay, hello. Today I'm going to be doing a video about PJ Harvey. She's my queen, my legend, my everything. I'm wearing a PJ Harvey shirt right now. I can show it to you. It might be upside down. I don't know how I'm going to flip it, but isn't that awesome? I'm a big fan. A big fan and a nerd. So this video is going to be very nerdy. You're going to be like, she sounds weird because she's a nerd. And she sounds like a big goofball. Well, I am a goofball. And I am a nerd, especially for her. Okay, so I have this massive CD collection, and I'm going to do other videos about this CD collection. Like yesterday I started, it was just going to be like random CDs, but then I picked up one PJ Harvey disc, and then I was like, okay, I can't just do one, I have to do all of them. And then I made like an hour-long video, and I finished it and watched some of it back, and I just was like, I don't like this, so I'm remaking it. Anyway, these are her CDs. Not in order, this is scrambled, but I'm going to show them to you in order. I don't really know. Oh, that looks cool. I don't really know what I didn't like about the video. I think I got too excited, and then I forgot it was like ASMR, so I wanted to make it more relaxing than like exciting, you know what I mean? I'm trying to work on my like calm voice, because I'm very like I'm very energetic, so it's hard for me to remember that, like, okay, you have to actually be like kind of calm and quiet and relaxing and stuff like that when I'm making videos. I'm an asthmatic queen. Here's the first piece of evidence right there. So is Arca. There's this ASMR channel that I really admire called No Frills ASMR, and she just like goes through objects and antiques and stuff, and just kind of like, she does her camera like this and just like shows them and talks about them. So I'm trying to like, I'm copying her. So okay, let's just start from, okay, so I have all of her albums except for La England Shake in 2011 and The Hope 6 Demolition Project. I don't remember what the album is called, but that one's from 2016. I don't have those two because these are all like certified like PJ Harvey albums, and she's on the cover of all of these, and those two are like a side product, and I'll get to that when I'm talking about this album, but those two are like political, not, I mean, they're good. I like La England Shake. The 2016 album I'm not a fan of. It's pretentious, but everybody's allowed to make mistakes. But I don't have those yet. I'd like them though, just to, you know, round it out. But I have more PJ Harvey CDs than I have of any other artist. Well, Tori Amos might be coming close. I think I'm going to do my next CD video about her albums because I have a lot of them. But okay, let's just start at the beginning. So alright, this is her first album, Dry. It's perfect. I'm going to be zooming in and out a lot because I like what it looks like up close, but this is the whole album. It's a really, 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 really good record. It like an insane start, just, it's kind of shocking how loud she like ripped onto the scene in just one album. Like, this was one of Kurt Cobain's favorite albums also, which is funny because that's just some guy, but it is notable. Like, people know this album because it's one of Kurt Cobain's favorites, but it's fantastic. Great album art, just fantastic. Not her best album art. I have more favorite picks than this one, but it's still good. Can't knock it. Oh My Lover is a great song. I really like to like belt that one out when I'm like at home alone. It's fantastic. This one has a good music video. Sheila and a Gig, that's a sculpture. PJ was going to be a sculptor before she did music. I think it just ended up being kind of convenient that music started working out for her. It became a better tool for her artistically, but she was a sculptor originally, which I think is really cool because I would really like to be a sculptor. I just graduated with a film degree, and as I was graduating, I was like, why didn't I choose sculpture? Because it really doesn't matter what art. Like, I do every art, and I think she has a similar mindset. Like, it doesn't matter what the medium is necessarily, as long as you're doing it. Like, it's the same energy. I feel like I would have been a good sculptor. Anyways. And Plants and Rags. That's my favorite off the album. One of the best songs of her whole career, in my opinion. I think it's really overlooked. These are all like rock, and then this is the one kind of like weird kind of slower song on the album, and it has this really like experimental classic like Velvet Underground-y like screechy violin track on it, which just rips my gut out. It's a really, really good song. Some of the lyrics are just mind-blowing what she was coming up with. I can't remember the lyric. I mean, I can. I don't think I should recite it because that would be weird. Other ones I will. That one, it's too dark. It's a dark album. This one is, it's based on the story of Ophelia, or the painting Ophelia, or both the story and the painting. I'll pull up another one just as an example. But this was, it's sort of a concept-y kind of thing where each song takes you kind of through the story of this woman who like the last one is her dying in the water, like, you know. Okay, but then for comparison, look at that. Boom. Like, oh, she loves that painting. I do too. I don't know much about the story of Ophelia, but when you listen to the songs and the lyrics, it does have a story and a flow to it, and it is very intense and upsetting. I guess this is Dry, 1992, first record. The band was called the PJ Harvey Trio at this point. Oh, can you see me? The band was called the PJ Harvey Trio for this and the next album. It was her and Rob Ellis and her and Rob Ellis and Stephen Vaughn maybe. I really didn't think. Oh, it's not a violin, it's a cello. I've actually been really interested in the cello in the past couple days, so that's really funny. The third member might have been Stephen Vaughn, but I actually am not convinced of that. But it probably was. Oh, also, something of note. Maria Machnax, photography by Maria Machnax. She works with Maria through her whole career, all the way up, at least until 2007. She is a match made in heaven. Like, she does her album art and her music videos, and a lot of her visuals and photography are done by her, and she just understands so deeply what PJ is trying to go for. It's Maria Machnax is extremely important in these albums, and like the creative idea that is PJ Harvey, because PJ Harvey is like a character that she's curated, and in that artwork the PJ Harvey artwork. I think Maria Machnax is like the key foundation, like a very important in the construction of PJ Harvey. She's essential. You can't talk about PJ Harvey if you don't talk about Maria Machnax. Okay, so I'll go with this one first. We have Rid of Me, which technically this album came out first. Wait, or maybe slightly after. I can't remember. They both came out in 1993. But this is the demos album, and then this is like the album. So if you know PJ Harvey, you're probably gonna know this album. I mean, like, there's nothing I could possibly say about it that would like serve it justice. It's an unbelievable record. It's so, like, the cover, because I think this album art is also extremely iconic. One of her best and most memorable. Definitely like a historic kind of piece of album art. Because, I mean, look at that. Jeez, like, come on. It doesn't... What I think is also so effective about this album art is that it captures the texture of the music really, really accurately. Like, the music sounds so much like what this looks like, which is gritty, dirty, but extremely crisp, like that kind of like black and white film picture quality where everything is highlighted, but it's very like it's rough, but it's crisp. I don't know, like it's like being cut by like a rusty blade. Like it's still extremely sharp and crisp, but it's not like a clean blade, you know? I don't know, that's maybe stupid, but all the songs on the album are incredibly violent. They're all about like her ex-lover, like ripping his head off, like cutting his legs off. It's every song, it's incredibly violent. Like, this is an album that absolutely cuts you. It's like, look at her hair. I mean, it's literally cutting the hair. It's incredible. Yeah, so that's the art. This is shot in her bathroom in, I think, Dorset, which is where she's from. She was traveling for the first album, and this is her real psycho era. Like, she was going nutso. So she moved back home to the beach and just shacked up and wrote this album, just to kind of get her head together. But this picture was taken with Maria Machnax and her in the bathroom, and she would throw her hair over and over again trying to get the perfect shot. And the bathroom was supposedly like tiny, so the distance between her and the bathtub and like Maria like shoved against the doors, like so knowing that, this picture really takes me to that room, like claustrophobic, you know. I don't know, it's just perfect. Rid of Me is one of the best rock songs of all time. One of her best, for sure. If you're interested, you should look up a live version of Rid of Me. There's versions where she's on stage playing with just her guitar, like the Big Day Out Festival at Sydney in like 2000. That's a good video. Just her and a guitar and like a massive crowd, and she just, yeah. And all of these are really hardcore kind of punk rock, like really fast in your face, but then missed. It goes hard, but this one will just like bring you absolute tears. Like, it's so emotionally charged. All of these, yeah, I mean, it's just an unstoppable record. This is the one where you're like, okay, this is like a force to be reckoned with. I couldn't say enough nice things about it. So this was the Demos album she released the same year. And it's not just a regular demos album, because PJ thinks very, very highly of the demo. Like, she thinks that that's a very, like, raw, beautiful thing. Like, it's not just like, oh, also, like, here's a little bonus track. Like, the demos are songs of themselves, artworks on their own terms for her. So for her to make a demos album, it's not just like I'm just saying, this isn't like a collector's thing. Like, this is like completely stands on its own as its own piece of artwork. This outfit is amazing. I wore this to a costume party once, and I actually fucking killed it. So I mean, I didn't have the sunglasses, but I had sunglasses, and they did look good. But it's iconic. I love the color scheme too, the greens and the kind of yellow tint on her. It's perfect. I would also wear this costume. That's awesome. I also really liked her hair around here. She was always wearing it in this like tight bun, and a lot of the time she had this like huge hoopy earring on. I really like this look for her. She had like her mustache hairs grown out, and I'm like very inspired by her man era. She was like, I want to be taken seriously, and she was. Okay. It starts with Rid of Me again. A lot of these are just demos from the album, but some of them are their own songs. Like Reeling is its own song, and that song is so high energy, so hilarious and unhinged. It's perfect. One of my favorites from the album. The alternate version of Rid of Me is really good. It's faster. Driving is original from this one. Hardly Wait is sweet. It's original on this one. And so Goodnight is my favorite one on this record. It's slow and swingy, and she sings in this like incredibly low register, and it's like the sweetest, most unreal thing. It takes me somewhere, puts me to bed. Some of the lyrics are so good too. I'm gonna look it up really quick just because I want to remember this one lyric. It's fantastic. I don't know how much battery I have, but I'm gonna charge it up and do more until I'm done. We have the stars, we have the trees, we have everything we need to feed. I'll make babes, you'll make chairs, we'll sell them at the county fair. We'll walk on, we'll walk tall, we'll dance once a week at the Union Hall. We'll have the stars, we'll have the trees, we'll have everything we need to feed. Here I am, prairie land, I got it all. Got my gun in hand, I'll sweep the porch, I dust his room. We'll sleep together on our chair at noon. It's beautiful. It's trippy. Okay, so that's that. In this era, these three together are very much their own era. So I'm kind of like, you can really consider these three kind of as not a unit, but her next album is a huge switch. So these ones are very much their own world of PJ Harvey, and she was always running around with that tight bun, like dressing like a man, acting cool for this whole era. Okay, then I'll say this now too. She's said this many, many times in interviews, is that every time she wants to do an album, she always tries to do the opposite. She's always going for like, how can I do the exact opposite with the next album? And this is where it starts. So you have Rid of Me, which is crisp, dry, rough, sharp, very much a jagged reality, super real life based, which flips around 180 to her 1995 album, To Bring You My Love, which, like the cover, like saturated, high production quality, like interesting instruments. Like this Rid of Me was like bare bones, like exactly what you would need and nothing more. And this one is like it's like an opera, like it's lyrics of like biblical proportion. Like it's dreamy, it's wonderful, it's imaginary too. Like Rid of Me seems like it's about her life, but this one is very much like kind of a invented Western world. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna silence my phone, I'm so sorry about that. The album cover is amazing. I note it's on my wall right now. I noted how this one's like she's slicing the water. It's violent, like it's like she's cutting water, where this one instead, her hair is like completely submerged, one with the water, like the dream, you know? I don't know. I'm gonna write an essay about her hair one day, because I think that you can sum up everything about her era, whichever era, whatever year it is, by just how her hairstyle looked. So I'm gonna write an essay about her career, but it's gonna be like through the lens of her hair and using like her hairstyle as a reference for everything that creatively that she was doing in that time. So if I talk about her hair a lot, it's because I'm obsessed with her hair. I don't know if I said 1995. This one was really, really huge for her. Really launched her into like a global kind of moment. Like this one came out and people were eating it up. Which I think she knew what she was doing. It's a very costumey album. This is also the one that I got into PJ from. I started listening to this one and then I was like, I am hooked, and then I would work my way like outward from here. But it is very appealing. It's not hard to get into, which I think is good because it gave her the ability to do many more strange albums, but it's... I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, this first track, To Bring You My Love, that was my first favorite song of hers. It's so heavy and so loud, and it's like opera. She's like belting from her gut, and it's so biblical and intense, and it's an incredible masterpiece of a song. Meet the Monster, Working for the Man, those are chill, creeping kind of rock songs. Those are amazing. It's good for music video, that one. Tekla's moody. This one's hardcore. Down by the Water is like her biggest song, other than the one she did with Tom York, but Down by the Water is pretty iconic. A lot of people know that one. I just did that for karaoke a couple days ago. It was fun. I Think I'm a Mother. Okay. PJ also has, she described it in an interview as like songs that sound like a whisper next to really loud songs. She says that a good rock album needs to have that kind of range. So I have a playlist called PJ's Whisper Rock, and it's all the songs on her albums. Like, her albums are very loud, and then suddenly there's one where the volume gets turned like way down to the point where if you're listening to it, you have to like turn the volume up just so you can hear anything going on, because it's like that quiet. But I Think I'm a Mother is one of those, and it is captivating. It might be my favorite on the album. This one's tied with To Bring You My Love, but I can play I Think I'm a Mother on the guitar, and I can sing it too if I have the lyrics in front of me, which I'm very proud of. It's a good song. Send His Love to Me is great. Dancer's great. Every single song on this is like, it's a hit. I love the gold. I love the green and the curtains and the reds and the gold. It's like beautiful album art. I do have a favorite piece of album art of hers, so we're getting to the best ones, but this one is definitely a standout. This one's a hit for sure. Like, she definitely served with this one. No lyrics yet though. I love a red curtain. Well, that's a dress, but still, it's good. Okay, also, this one was so high production, like I said, very dreamy and all that, because she got Flood to produce it. This is the first, I believe, is the first one produced by Flood. That's just his name. It's just Flood, one word. I believe, okay, yeah, engineered and mixed by Flood. Also, John Parrish is huge. She and John and Rob Ellis are like, they're best friends, still making music today. Like, literally, last year they just released a new PJ Harvey record. But Flood is also on all of her albums. Starting with this one is on all of them. They're really close to. I don't know what his real name is, but he does her good. I mean, starting here, you lose the gritty punk rock budget kind of idea, but so a lot of her fans really like stick to these kinds of stuff, which I respect. I love crazy production. I love stuff like that. So the rest really gets me, but this is like a marked shift in her career when she starts working with Flood and goes for the more like real artiste kind of thing. I just couldn't love it more. Okay, so 95, and then with Is This Desire? I'm very excited about this one. 1998. This is if I were forced to pick, every single one of them is my favorite, and at different times every single one has been my number one favorite, but right now, if I were forced to pick, this would be my second favorite, and then our 2004 record, which I'll get to later, will be my first favorite. So this one's very special to me. With the kind of opposites thing, this one's very instrumental, very orchestral, lots of strings and interesting instruments. This one is grungy and electronic. This is her like big electronic album. Very gritty, and also of her two saddest records, this one is very, 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 very difficult. It's just really, really unbelievably brutal. She's gone on, okay, also, I forgot to say, so, To Bring You My Love, this era, she was always doing costumes and, like, huge makeup and, like, these wild pink jumpsuits and getting on stage and being very animated and strange, doing the whole costumes thing, which interviews for this era, she said she wasn't sure if she was being honest. Like, it kind of felt more like a coping thing, because if she can put a costume on, then she's somebody else. She's PJ Harvey. So with this one, she wanted to kind of, it's interesting though, this one she wanted to strip back. She said this was her most personal album to date, which I do think is true. But what's interesting, she said she doesn't want to wear costumes anymore. But what makes this one interesting, and also on top of the fact that she says it's her most vulnerable album, is that every song on the album is a story. Like, some of them are literally based on short stories, like, well, I'll get into that, but they're all about other people and characters and things happening to other characters that she's writing about. And so the first line on the first song is literally my first name, Angeline, from the song Angeline, which, oh my god, you guys, that's one of my favorites on the album. It's perfect. One of my favorite songs of all time. One of my favorite PJ. It's incredible. But first name Angeline, which is her kind of like calling attention to the fact that, like, yes, this is my most vulnerable album, but I'm gonna be these characters, you know? Like, I'm putting myself in the shoes of these inventions, and that's how I'm gonna tell you who I am, you know? It's incredibly poignant and interesting what she says about art and storytelling and vulnerability. I want to say that I think the album cover is kind of also a nod to that, because it's very clearly like a photograph, you know? And so you have two sides of the same coin. You have a real PJ Harvey, and then the reflection, the PJ Harvey art movement, you know, which I think is pretty cool. And you'll see her talk about that in later albums, like especially her 2004 one is wrestling with her own artistic persona and how it's almost become two different people, and she has this like relationship with herself, you know, her artistic self, the image, the photograph of PJ Harvey in all these artworks. So I think this cover is sort of a nod to that, how you relate to your art and how you relate to your own image when you take images of yourself, and what it means to exist in that kind of dual space, which I think everybody can relate to now, you know. But I love this CD. This is my favorite art book. Not my favorite cover. I mean, I love the cover, but it's my favorite inside album art. I love the words on here. I love this. It's like a dead bird. I love pictures of dead birds. Sue me. I don't care. I love that. On the beach, it's perfect. So I think I mentioned it already, but this was her first album printing the lyrics out because she thought they finally could like stand on their own as like their own work of art, and it's true. She has so many images and themes that run through the songs, like whenever she references the sun, it's the light of love coming down on her. When she references heat, it's love reaching her, but the more gritty side. A lot of those kinds of things, like stars and cities that she'll pull from, like she'll define what that symbol means to her in like the second song, and then every time she references it again, it's like, all right, since you've been paying attention, you know when she mentions this kind of thing, it's pulling on this emotion. It's a masterpiece. It's unbelievable. It's perfect. It's so complicated. The poetry is just, it's hard to describe what it means to me. It means so much to me. Oh, look at her. She's amazing. My favorite songs, Angeline, the first one. Well, I listened to this one a lot. I like every song on it. The Sky Lit Up is so intense and so fast. The Wind is so groovy, so cool. My Beautiful Leah, I think, is one of my favorite songs of all time. Favorite on the album, favorite PJ Harvey song maybe ever. That one, so good. One of my most listened to songs of all time. I could, there's not a single day I couldn't listen to that song like 5 times in a row and just love it more every single time. I love My Beautiful Leah. Oh, I'll be right back. Yeah, I got it.
Just for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, sorry for the interruption. I don't know if you guys heard the doorbell ring, but a guy was here to do our, he was like spraying for bugs. I don't know what he thought I was doing in here, but I bet it made him laugh. One time, our apartment complex was doing like inspections, and these two guys, and I was friendly with them, like I knew them, they walked into my room and their faces went like stone cold, like eyes were huge because my decorations are a little intense, and also my room is really messy. I didn't know what was going on that day. But it was just really, really funny to me. Like, they looked like they saw a ghost, and then they walked out and they didn't say anything to me the rest of the time. I was like, okay, I'm not that weird. Anyways. Alright, where was I? I already talked about Angeline. I talked about My Beautiful Leah. A Perfect Day, Elise is based on A Good Day for Banana Fish, I think is the name of the short story, but I'm not sure. It's by J.D. Salinger. It's a good one. This song, Joy, is based on a Flannery O'Connor short story. I read it. It's called Good Country People. Anyways, Good Country People. You know, when I went to go buy a Flannery O'Connor book, I would not have preferred that story also be in there. I haven't read it. I don't plan on reading it. Sometimes history shouldn't be erased. Sometimes you should remember when authors were racy. Oh my god, that is not the interlude I wanted for this video. Anyways, it's a Good Country People is a really good short story. It's really sad and strange, and I'm not going to explain it here because it's too sad and strange, but but Joy is a really weird song for her. She has a few like very experimental kind of moments. This is one of them. Joy is like, it's loud and horrifying, and she samples a lot of these like spinning kind of machine sounds, and it sort of sounds like the Yoko Ono song Airmail, but if it was like made to be kind of fun. It's a good one. Catherine is another one of those like I Think I'm a Mother. It's like quiet rock, so I listen to this one a lot because it's so quiet and amazing. There's some drums on it that are just like iconic. Electric Light is also quiet. It's interesting. This album is cool because half of it goes like mind-bendingly hard, and then half of it will like put you to sleep. It's genius. The last song, Is This Desire, is a very special song. It's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. Great album. Just, I like the white on the side. It's beautiful. Oh, I forgot to show you a lot of other things. Okay, that was just the lyrics side, but this is the pictures side. This cool, like, cause she has a song about like Joseph and somebody. The sunset. It's a good one. Okay, this is my favorite one. It's like a collage. Can you guess what TV show this is from? Can you guess who this is? It's Donna Hayward from Twin Peaks. And I've been on like such a Twin Peaks kick the past couple of days. Like I just watched Fire Walk with Me last night. That movie. It's dark. Okay, that's 1998, and so again, we did the opposites thing. So this is her saddest album to date, and then 2 years later, in 2000, she releases this masterpiece, and it's easily the happiest album she has ever made. Happiest songs. It's all about. She was dating Nick Cave for a while, and she broke up with Nick Cave shortly before this album came out, which is kind of like interesting. But this one is like, it's all about like, it's New York City, stories from the city, stories from the sea. It's about like hitting the town, falling in love, being an American. Like the first one is like she's getting to this new country and it's just like, give me a gun. Like that's the lyric. She's like, I don't even care anymore. Like I'm just gonna have a good life right now. And so these first 3 tracks are my favorite. This one's just like unabashedly, unashamedly just happy. This one is such a dream. The music videos for these two I watch them all the time. They're so rewatchable. Good Fortune is her like, it's like this album cover, but like in a video, like she's just running across the town, like having a good time. And this one is so dreamy. She's like an angel. This Mess We're In is a song she did with Tom York from Radiohead, and it's like a very, very, very famous song. This album was her most famous, I think. Like it was the biggest. And when I watch videos from this year, it's always at these like massive festivals, and she just looks like a cool rock star, and it's great. This song Horses in My Dreams is really special. I have the lyrics on my wall. It's kind of a slower, sweet song. It's really it's beautiful. A really, really, really great record. Rory from Gilmore Girls has this album on her wall, I think, or she listens to it, which I think is really cute. The lyrics are also printed out to this one. The lyrics are pretty beautiful. I don't think they're as deep, maybe, as Is This Desire, because This Desire is like a poetic, a dense, poetic world on its own. And I mean, the lyrics of these are beautiful, but it's not the same. That's 2000s. This is just such a good one. This is when you're like cleaning your house and you're having a good day. You're like, it's time to just vibe, be happy, put on some good music videos. It's so special. Okay, so again with the opposites thing, this was her Clean Girl album. This one's very like dirty, electronic, weird, hard hitting. This one's clean, lush, like the most beautiful guitar tones you've ever heard. It's perfect. So she wanted to do, this is also the peak of PJ Harvey the character, you know, like this is her at her biggest. So with this one she was, this album 2004, this is my favorite one right now. Yeah, this was her deconstruction of PJ Harvey the character. This was her, like, I mean, just let's compare the covers, you know. This one, she's in the street, like, looking great. She's got her dress on, sunglasses. This one is like an ugly selfie. It's like brown. Wise words. Anyways, it's just interesting. Like, she goes from that to this. She writes the title in white chalk, which is the name of her next album. I think she has a thing for white chalk, maybe. This album cover reminds me of this one, now that I'm looking at it. You know, it's not the same, but it's got that kind of grainy, yellowy kind of thing. I don't know if that comes up on the camera, but it's interesting. I don't know who this is, but I know it's somebody special to her. I know it's somebody important. I can't remember what his name is, though. I really like this cover. Oh, I have a lot to say about this one. It's extremely special to me. Okay. So all her albums have like a very specific kind of like flow. They're all very calculated, poetic stories. This one was her trying to like do something different. So it's all very like collage aesthetic, patchwork. The songs don't exactly fit together in an overt way. They fit together perfectly, but it's not easy to embrace as Like, this one is easy. I don't know anybody who would listen to that and not enjoy it. It's extremely enjoyable. This one is sort of challenging. But then in these, you have all these pictures of her that she took herself. Like from 93, her like short hair, rid of me moment. Probably closer to 98. 90 earlys again. It's a good one. This one 95 when she was doing the costume and the makeup, and just beautiful, 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 beautiful. When you love an artist as much as me, these kinds of pictures, like, you can't overlook. Evil is a demo that she has released later. It's really good. But she just means the world to me. So when I see pictures of her like this, like, it moves me very deeply. This one was from 2004. Man, it's just great. It's so brilliant. So let me pull out this song, the track list. So this album is, each song is addressed to, oh, I also find it interesting that she didn't, oh, it's also kind of funny, the end for Vincent Gallo, which I don't know if you know anything about that guy. That's funny. Like that's funny. Anyways, she didn't print the lyrics out for this one, which I disagree with her on. I don't understand that. I think the lyrics are, well, I'll just say this. It's my favorite lyrics of hers across her whole career. They're not perfect, but there are moments where like the beauty of her words is so hot and powerful that it like, the lyrics alone, they just strike me down into my core. It's unbelievable. So each song on the album is addressed, why is that not? Okay. Each song on the album is addressed to you. She's singing to you, to a quote you, somebody. There's a subject on each of these songs. She doesn't really do that, so that's how you know it's like noteworthy. The subject she's singing to is, it's like 3 things, which I'm gonna go on my little conspiracy right now, so you can call bullshit if you want. Let's do it yourself, it'll be different, but this is my reading. It's about a lover, God, and art all at the same time. I mean, when you make an album or a poem about God, it becomes very easy to individualize the message to yourself, because I say art because that's my God, you know? Any viewer can come to it and replace it with what they're passionate about, and suddenly it kind of reads the same, which I think is just a testament to her songwriting ability, you know? To be able to access so many kinds of stories and so many people with the same words. But I do think there's an even more specific message here with all 3 of those: God, art, love, a lover, I mean, and taking into account the art and how this album was like a deconstruction of her persona. Oh, my friend is calling me. Hello. Oh, what was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna ask if I had enough time to finish my ASMR video, but I'm doing it now anyways, so. Okay, cool. The Mexican store? What's the Mexican store? See ya. Bye. I wonder if that was too loud. Maybe I'll keep that in. If it's quiet enough, I'm gonna keep it in. My friend was offering to buy me a mango milk thing. Anyways, I'm trying to finish this video before he gets here because we're gonna like have drinks and like hang out. So I don't want to rush it, but I want to like get it done because I'm really excited about this take. It's like 1,000 times better than the one I did last night. Okay, so keeping in account that this is a deconstruction of her own persona of PJ Harvey, which at this point has gotten very out of hand. I mean, by 2004, after Stories from the City, Stories from the Sea, PJ Harvey, the character, is massive and so fully realized and already has experienced so many different kinds of, like, after a Joy album, like, she is almost like her own living being with her own feelings. So, I mean, we can go back to, like, this album cover, you know, it's like experiencing yourself on a screen, you know, it's bizarre. So I think this album, when she's addressing you the whole time, it's her addressing herself. It's Polly Jean addressing PJ Harvey, the character, you know, which also, I mean, art is God, love is God. All of those things are encapsulated in the same thing. It's just a wrestling with what this kind of God means to her, what this persona, what this image, what this artistic product she's put so much into, what that means for her real life. This album is sort of a reckoning with the truth of the fact that she has spent her whole life pouring herself into this character and leaving behind a real life. Like, for example, No Child of Mine, it's a very short song, it's acoustic, it's about, I mean, it's not on the nose, but when you dig deeper you can see these things, but it's about, you know what, again, you can call BS on me, I don't care, but I think it's about how she doesn't have a child. She never had a child. She doesn't have time to take care of a child because she's put so much work into this stuff. She doesn't have a relationship. She's kind of failed her personal life, her real life, to create something so beautiful and powerful and majestic as PJ Harvey, as this artistic product she's made. It's a trade-off. It's brutal. I get a lot out of this album because sometimes I am afraid I ignore real life in the sake of art, which I try not to. I don't think I do that so much because I'm so afraid of it, but this album hits me hard because it truly, like, it, like, preys on, like, my fears of becoming like her, and I really don't want to, but I won't. I mean, I have friends and stuff and do things and live a real life, but oh my god, sometimes I'm afraid I'm gonna be old and alone because I've made too many good movies, and okay, anyways, The Life and Death of Mr. Badmouth is so good. This is sort of like a feministy kind of, like, oh fuck that guy kind of moment. There's this line in this song that I don't understand, but I still take the blame. Oh, it's in Shame. If you tell a lie, I still take the blame. If you pass me by, I just feel shame, shame, shame. I think it's about how when your character, your PJ Harvey character, starts to have a life of its own, it's like people spin stories about it, and now the real Polly Jean is taking the flack, you know, like, oh, I'm going to, it's just hard to describe. Each song is like a different perspective on this relationship. Like, some of them are very like, oh, fuck him, fuck that, fuck how much she's been, like, processed. Some of them are very horny, very slutty. Some of them are melancholic. Like the Slow Drug is one of my favorite songs. There's a synth on it that is brutally powerful. Some of them are very spiritual. The Desperate Kingdom of Love is her most touching love song easily. Yeah, it's so tender and wholehearted and sweet and honest and just truly loving. It's like the good side of art, you know, when it's being kind and it gives you a place to stay and comforts you. But this album is a collage. It's stitchy, it's weird, it's upends itself, because that you hope when you're listening to it, you hope this is where it ends, and it just doesn't. But The Darker Days of Me and Him it's very much an ironic kind of song. Like, it's like, oh, you thought you were gonna make it and you just won't. Like, things are not as they seem, and when you pour so much into something, it leaves you high and dry. It's dark. There's this bonus track on this song. I think it's after this one or at the end of It's You, and it's just seagull sounds for a couple minutes, and I love that song so much. I have it saved on my desktop as a WAV file just so I can drop it into random projects whenever I feel like I need seagull sounds. It's like hilarious. I use it all the time. The end is like this short kind of accordion thing, and it's so beautiful. This album is strange and not... It is so strange and messy at certain points, but when it's tender, it's truly the most loving music I think she's ever made. It's interesting that amidst this whole, like, she's trying to be like different, like bleh, stitched together, like everything's kind of messy, but even within that style, it reaches the most emotional heights, the most loving. It's just interesting to find that kind of music within this context. This record, favorite one, just, yeah, I love it. Okay, I'm forcing myself to move on because I could talk about that album forever. One day I'm going to do a video where I print all the lyrics out and just take you through it. Well, hopefully not. Anyways, okay, 2007, White Chalk. This one's a little hardcore. This one's sad. This one's really, 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 really sad. It's a suicide note. The last song is her killing herself. But I think with this one, she's reckoning with the character of PJ Harvey, and this is the song where she kills PJ Harvey. The next two albums of hers, like I said, she's not on the cover. Those are political albums. They really have nothing to do with her. It's purely like stories, like other realities, real life problems. Oh, 1 second. Okay. So I think this was her album just trying to finish PJ Harvey, because clearly the character wants to die. Like, her whole career, every album is like, I don't think anything could have happened to the character other than this. I think this is the only output that is acceptable for, or does justice to the character. This cover is fucking brilliant. What's kind of interesting is I didn't even know, but look who made the dress. Dress designed by Harvey Mocknax, Annie Mocknax, Maria Mocknax's sister. Isn't that crazy? I have an extremely deep relationship with this dress. It's my favorite dress I think ever made. On the cover, it's not embroidered yet, but basically, it's in a museum now. But the dress was embroidered with lyrics to her album, and it has inspired me to no end. It's unbelievable. It's a good picture. It's a brilliant work of art in itself. It's amazing. I have listened to this album a lot. Even though it's so sad, it's very fun to listen to. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, so this one's still rock. This is her biggest left turn in her career. This is psychedelic folk. It's straight up piano, ghost, auto harp strangeness. So you listen to this one and you're like, is this even PJ Harvey? But I think this is who she was supposed to be all along. Like, she is just a ghosty, witchy kind of girl. I think since this album is a suicide note, I think that's unbelievably brilliant design to have hit so flat, because when you put it in your stack of CDs, you literally can't even see it. It disappears, which I think is unbelievably powerful CD design. It's ridiculous. The Devil is good. Grow, Grow, Grow is good. Studio version, great. But if you're interested, you gotta look up any live version, because she does this specific thing with her vocals in the live version, and it indescribably beautiful. Like, it just shatters you into a million pieces. There's this one show where she's in her like Victorian Gothic dress, but she's on this like white sterile game showy kind of background, and it's horrible. It's brutal. It's like this other album cover, but I'll talk about that later. Piano has a really good music video. I want to make a video like it one day, and The Mountain is my favorite song on the album. It's the suicide. She jumps off the mountain. Anyways, I Inside the Old Year Dying. 2007. Now we're jumping all the way to 2023. Yeah, that's right. That's right, crew. She's still making music. So this one is music based on her poetry book, Orlum. I haven't finished it yet, but it's really good. Basically, it's written in this dead dialect from Dorset, so it's all very like Old English, because she's very pretentious and, you know, artistic. But it's the first album and book written in that dialect, like, in years and years and years and years. So I know she thought she was very cool for that, which she is. It is very cool. I think this album design is, it's also psychedelic folk, very similar to this one, but it's even more kind of produced. It's very worldly, and also it has some of her most tender songs. It reminds me of her in that way. Like A Child's Question, August is one of the sweetest songs she's ever made. So is this one, I Inside the Old Ida, and they both have unbelievably beautiful music videos. Prayer at the Gate is really operatic, like To Bring You My Love. It's a phenomenal record. I really like the album art. I think it's beautiful. There's like this plastic shine of saran wrap, or plastic wrap that an album is usually wrapped in. I think she's the stick. I think she thinks she feels really like she's being phased out, you know, by a culture that keeps moving. The stick is like the dialect, the Dorset dialect that is, it's completely dead now, you know, wrapped and put in like a new capitalist framework. But I think it's beautiful. I Inside the Old Year Dying is the name. I See the Old Year Dying, which I like that. It's interesting because the album art and the title don't relate to the music or the world of Orlum, which I think is cool, because it's sort of, she didn't want this album to be like a gateway to the book or a translation of the book. She says that this is music and it stands on its own. It's just in the same world, you know, but you shouldn't take it as if they are the same. But when I read this book, anytime I find one of the songs in it, I'll like play the music and read along, because it'll, like, this book starts with Prayer at the Gate, the first song on the album, so it's almost the same lyrics. She changes it a little bit, but it's cool. It really makes the book feel like it's alive. It's riveting. I could go on so much more about her. She is just everything to me. I couldn't even explain it in words. There's so much more to say that I didn't say. I've made movies about her. I've written pages and pages about her. I've collected so many pictures of her. I have Pinterest boards. It's so stupid. I've like read her lyrics. Yeah, I mean, that's all I'll say about her. She's the best. Go listen to her. If any of those albums stood out to you, go check it out first. I'll do these 3 really quick on the way out. So we have Tricky, Angel with Dirty Faces, which I just got this one. I was very excited about it. PJ Harvey is featured on Broken Homes. It's a really, really good song. I have Sparkle Horse. It's a Wonderful Life. PJ Harvey is on a few tracks. She's backup vocals on some, but she's got Eye Pennies and another one. I can't remember what the other one is, but it's a really good album. And then Marianne Faithfull's Before the Poison, which is funny because PJ Harvey's on it, Nick Cave is on it, Damon Albarn is on it. It's like hilarious. But so basically Marianne asked her if she could put a cover of No Child of Mine from Her on this, so they made like a 6-minute ballad track. I mean, because No Child of Mine on here is like 60 seconds acoustic. It's nothing. This is like a very large production. So okay, that's my video. Bye. My friend is here with my milk.